Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming to my presentation. My name is Alexander Grigg, and this is our 15-minute lunch and learn. Today's topic will be about open educational resources for children ages K through 12. And I just want to say if anybody has any questions or any comments during the presentation of this video, please feel free to ask them. This is an open forum, and hopefully you learned something. All right, let's get started. Okay, so a little bit of an introduction about myself. I am a library assistant over at the City of Ontario Library. I've been working there for the last 3 years, and for the past year, we've really been building up the tutoring program that is around all year, whether it be summer or during the school year. And I know the majority of you here in this presentation are parents who have a child within the K through 12 system. Some of you are educators, others are library workers, and the point of this forum, of this presentation, is to teach why open educational resources can benefit your children, especially in a tutoring atmosphere, both in the library, in school, and at home. So right now I have a little agenda of what we're going to talk about. We'll be speaking about what a open educational resource is, or OERs. And then we're going to give 3 recommended open educational resources that you can use in your own home, or in the library, or at school. The 3 resources being Khan Academy, the CK12 Foundation, and Starfall Education. So here we have the very first question. What is an open educational resource? Well, I'm really glad you asked. So basically, an open educational resource is a resource or material that is freely available for teaching, learning, or research. It could be digital or it could be physical, like a textbook or workbook. Unlike other educational resources such as Duolingo or Minecraft Education, these resources require a subscription or a copyright detail, whereas an open educational resource is completely free and designed to reduce barriers to education and promote access to high quality resources, especially for a tutoring or research atmosphere. OERs usually allow users to use, share, modify, and redistribute content at no cost. Kind of like a Wikipedia situation, but for an academic space. And as I said before, they can be printed or they can be found online. Now, the resources that we will be sharing, they will be an online resource, but again, they are accessible via at home, the library, your school, whether you have a smartphone, a computer, or a tablet. Right now, before continuing forward to our first open educational resource, I want to talk a little bit about why these resources are important in the first place. I come from a family where we did not grow up with a lot of money. We were lower towards the middle class area, and I was one student that did struggle in school. Not knowing this, I grew up with dyslexia and ADHD, and it was really hard to focus and pay attention to my work, so I did need some extra tutoring in my life. Now, unfortunately, like most of you, we did not have the money for a private tutor or to send me to, some of the institutes that provide the tutoring, and so we really had to rely on library resources and teachers for more help. I know that many of you may have students or children that are in the same boat, or they may have a disadvantage when it comes to education. And this is the reason why we have open educational resources. It's an avenue for everybody to have access to information and help, whether it be for tutoring or research purposes, at an absolutely no cost. That way, everybody has the opportunity to get the education they need and to move forward and hopefully go to college, get a master's, and live a good life. Now, the first open education resource that we are going to provide is called the Khan Academy. They are strictly a tutoring resource, and we're about to dive in right now. So the Khan Academy is an open educational resource designed for students, teachers, and parents of all ages. They do provide short and engaging video lessons and exercises for a variety of subjects ranging from math, science, history, English, and college prep. Khan Academy has been around for years and years, and they have an incredibly successful teaching rate for helping students when they need a leg up in tutoring. What makes Khan Academy so interesting and so great is that they provide a personalized learning path that allows students to study and learn at their own pace. Unlike schooling, There's never a deadline to complete an assignment. If you have a student that's struggling in fractions or divisions or perhaps in English, they can solely focus on the exercises of these subjects and learn at their own pace, redoing exercises, relearning the videos until they're able to get to the point where they want to excel, basically. Khan Academy is accessible via the internet, and in order to use this website, patrons do need to create an account with an email and a login. And once logged in, patrons may browse the variety of subjects and courses and choose which ones would best fit their needs. Now, the big question is, how can you, as a parent, an educator, or a librarian, use Khan Academy to help your student or your child? The great thing is Khan Academy is has a linear learning structure, which anybody can use. It's easy and it's efficient. The best way that I would recommend is to create an account, talk with a teacher or an educator to see which subjects your child is struggling in, and then once you get home, or to the library, wherever you have internet access, once your account is set up, explore through the list of subjects to see which ones best fit their needs. Right now, pulled up right here, as you can see, they have subjects from math from pre-K to 8th grade, high school math, college math. They have lessons in economics, the arts, and humanity. And let's just say your child is not struggling, but they just want to learn something new. And there are subjects for that as well. They have introduction to computing classes. They have test prep. They have partner courses in reading and language arts. There are so many pathways that they can explore, and it all just comes down to sitting down, choosing which subjects your child needs to focus on, and then at their own pace, going through the subjects and see how they're doing. Now that is going to lead us into our second open educational resource, which is the CK-12 Foundation. All right, now the CK-12 Foundation is very similar to the Khan Academy. However, there are some differences. But as a general rundown, like the Khan Academy, CK-12 is an open educational resource designed for students, teachers, and parents of all ages. However, rather than relying on video instruction in a strict linear tutoring process, CK-12 offers custom digital textbooks called Flexbooks, which can be edited by educators and students. Not only that, they offer something called PLIC simulations, which stand for Play, Learn, Interact, and Explore, that engage students in a fun manner. What makes them stand out the most is that whereas Khan Academy has a strictly linear tutoring process where you pick a focus and you work through the course in order to strengthen your knowledge in that subject, CK-12, which still does have a tutoring aspect to it, invites its students to explore a little bit, which is kind of where the research foundation comes in. Rather than telling them, you have to complete this course, bam, 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 and these exercises, they invite them to explore the textbooks relating to their subjects. They invite them to explore the games in order to strengthen their skills and to see what else CK-12 has to offer, which is kind of why their mascot Flexi is an AI there to help them with whatever questions they have to point them to the correct resource. Now, much like Khan Academy, you have to create an account with an email and password, and once an account is created, users are free to explore the exercises and games in the Flexbooks. Now, our recommendation in using this in your home is perhaps this is more focused for older kids, because although we do want them to have a strong tutoring tendency and schedule like that, CK-12 kind of introduces students to the personal research portion when it comes to academics. Whereas telling them exactly what to do, again, this website invites them to explore on their own and see what this website has to offer and learn on their own the subjects, which is important for research, which is actually going to go into our third open educational resource. Now, our last open educational resource is called the OER Commons. Just got the slide. All right, so OER Commons is a little bit different than the last two. Whereas Khan Academy and CK12 are more of a tutoring focused websites to help students struggling in your math or science, or helping adults just get reintroduced into math or science to prepare for a test or college, or to refresh their knowledge of what they learned in grade school. The OER Commons is much more of an online digital library. It is an open repository curated for K-12 students to help them find information and resources for tutoring as one, but also for research projects and subjects, and that's where this website shines. OER focuses on research on more subjects than just math and science, such as coding, music, and STEM, and they do promote discovery and research rather than a structured learning model. So whereas Khan Academy is strictly, a linear tutoring model, OER Commons is very much a discovery library, see what you can find thing, with CK12 kind of in the middle, so it's kind of like Khan Academy, CK12 to introduce to OER Commons. Much like the other OERs, you have to create an account with an email and access to, you have to create an account with an email and a password, and you must have access to the internet. These are all online resources. Now, what makes OER Commons so great is, as a digital library, it has a heavy research aspect to it. It does have some tutoring and some exercises for that, but the main way that we recommend using this is for research purposes. So maybe more for high schoolers, if we're being completely honest. If a high schooler wants to do a research paper or learn the history of a specific subject, OER Commons is the best way to go, because this is where you will find sources to cite if you're learning to use MLA resources and stuff like that. So you just have to remember, Khan Academy is strictly tutoring, CK12 is a mixture of tutoring and exploration into the research, OER Commons, because it is an open repository, though it does have tutoring tendencies, is heavily used for research purposes and exploration of subjects. Now, before we end this presentation, I do just want to conclude with these final words. So we've gone through the open educational resources that we recommend. We talked about how to best use them, what means they have, what they include. I do want to talk about why these open educational resources are so important. We're living in a digital age that is constantly improving and changing. In the last couple of years, we've seen the rise of AI, we've seen the rise of iPhones and smartphones and tablets, and we're living in an age where it's extremely difficult to discern which information is true, credible, or just downright false. When kids, starting from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, are able to learn how to use educational resources for themselves and able to think and do their own kinds of research, they will drastically increase in their digital and information literacy, which is going to help them after college and into life. That kind of practice starts here right now. It can start with Khan Academy and that self-exploration and discovery which CK12 offers, and the OER Commons helps students learn for themselves how to research, how to find information, and how to discover what is true and what is false. Now, the best thing is, even though we're talking about your children and your students, these resources are open to you as well as adults. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, a librarian, not a librarian, you are more than welcome to use these resources for yourself as a refresher. And then maybe, to practice self-research and discovery, self-reflection. These resources are here so that everybody of all ages can have access to this information. But of course, more than ever, they're mostly here to help our children learn and improve in their skills so that they can have a brighter future ahead of them. But this is the end of my presentation. Thank you guys very much. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful and fabulous holiday. Take care.